What is he in for this Saturday night?
I rule the weekend. I rule the weekend for sure. He just doing what you have to do, trying to psych yourself out for the fight and things like that. But
Lamont Roach isn't here for the games. He knows what people are saying. He knows they think he's nothing more than another name on Tank's hit list, just another opponent sent to sleep before the fight even gets interesting. But Roach doesn't care. He's stepping into the Barclays Center on Saturday with one goal: to shake up the boxing world and prove that he's not just some easy cherry pick for the so-called face of boxing. And the way he sees it, Tank will have no choice but to dig deep and bring out every tool in his arsenal, because this time the knockout won't come easy.
It's competition, and it can only be one winner. It can't be two winners. It can only be one winner. So it's either going to be you or me, and I'm going to get you before you get me.
Y'all going to see it March 1st, because he's not going to have no choice but to use it, Roach said, sending a direct message to everyone who believes he won't last long against the Baltimore power puncher. He's not backing down from the challenge, and he's certainly not intimidated by Tank's ridiculous knockout ratio. If anything, Roach sounds like a man who sees something others don't. A gap in Tank's armor, a way to exploit his habits. Of course, not everyone is buying what Roach is selling. The critics are quick to remind him that Tank Davis isn't just a knockout artist. He's a wrecking ball with a nearly flawless track record. And while Roach might think he's the scientist who turns into the Hulk when the bell rings, he's never dealt with.
I think Lamont Roach is a terrific fighter. He might be a little over his head with Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis is, to say the least, he's a beast. He really is. He's a tremendous fighter.
This isn't some local gym war. This is the biggest stage of his career against the most dangerous finisher in the division. And history hasn't been kind to guys who think they can outbox or overpower Tank. Just look at Jamal Herring back in 2019. Herring came close to putting Roach on the canvas before winning a unanimous decision. That fight alone raises questions about Roach's level. If Herring could do that, what's going to happen when Tank, a guy who hits like a freight train, starts unloading? That's the doubt hanging over Roach's confidence.
I think he actually took this fight for the naysayers and all the people talking shit about the fight. I think he actually took the fight because he know that I'm a dog, and he want to prove his skills against a dog. So I'm gonna show y'all what happens when two dogs get in the ring together.
But Roach refuses to acknowledge it. He's focused on the work. He's stepping up to lightweight from 130. And he believes that extra weight will make all the difference. More power, more strength, more durability specifics. I can tell you we're just working on getting stronger, getting faster. We have more room. We don't need to lose more weight. We have more room to do a lot more physical things, he explained, making it clear that he's entering this fight in the best shape of his life. And let's not forget the mind games. Roach isn't just banking on his own improvements. He sees potential weaknesses in Tank's camp. Calvin Ford, Tank's longtime trainer, and the man who has guided him from the start, won't be in his corner on fight night. That's a big deal. It's like
Roach and him back and forth battles and whatnot. It's going to be a pretty interesting fight, you know what I'm saying? Because Roach he come to fight. I mean, I think it's a great fight. Everybody talking all that stuff about, why Roach? Because he signed and took the fight, you know what I'm saying? And it's good for the community.
More than likely, he said when asked if Ford's absence would be an advantage. I think that's a little weird. You've been with your lifetime career trainer. To not have him as your head trainer in your corner, that might be a difference maker for him. You never know. He's right as dominant as Tank. Is he has patterns? He starts slow. He falls behind on the scorecards. And then he relies on that one punch power to bail him out. It's a formula that's worked time and time again. But what happens if that punch doesn't land clean? What if Roach, with his slick boxing skills, builds an early lead and makes it ugly in the later rounds? That's the scenario Roach is betting on. Yes, that's it. Think I train for the best Javant. I train for a Danta that isn't projected to have. If he's not a beast that night, it's going to show, Roach stated confidently. But here's the reality. Roach isn't just fighting Tank. He's fighting the narrative, the expectation, the overwhelming belief that he's just a stepping stone. He's fighting against a sport that has already decided his fate. And that's what makes the fight so damn intriguing. If Roach is wrong, if he's just another name on Tank's highlight reel, then the critics will have their "I told you so" moment. They'll say he was never on this level, that his confidence was misplaced, that Tank did what Tank always does, break his opponent down and send him home early. But if Roach's is right, if he survives those early rounds, exposes Tank's bad habits, and forces him into a real dogfight that changes everything. And despite the odds, despite the doubts, Roach remains convinced he has the answers. "I've been here before, the tables will turn. I'll tell you," that he said, leaving no room for hesitation. Maybe he's bluffing. Maybe he truly sees something the world doesn't. But one thing is clear, he's not coming to Brooklyn to lose. And all this confidence is backed up by his dad. Lamont Roach SR has been preparing for this moment his entire life, even if the world hasn't been paying attention, as he stands in the corner of his home ahead of the biggest fight of his career against the unbeaten knockout artist. The gym, the long drives to amateur tournaments, the sacrifices. But above all, the lessons from one man, Bernard Roach. Bernard wasn't just a mentor, he was family. The architect of a boxing legacy that still stands strong today. And as Roach SR steps into Brooklyn's Barclays Center, the place where dreams are made and shattered, he knows Bernard is watching. "We saw it, we believed it, we achieved it." Roach SR says, his voice filled with both pride and sorrow. Bernard Roach was a very good man.
Training camp's been great, man. I've been working my ass off. I've been putting myself through hell, putting myself through fire. Also, for March 1st to come out victorious.
For Roach SR, this isn't just a fight. It's a culmination of years of work, an opportunity to prove that Lamont Jr. is more than just an underdog, more than just another name on Tank's record. The world may see this as another easy win for Davis, another knockout to add to his highlight reel. But inside the Roach camp, there's an unwavering belief that things will be different. Roach SR carries his mentor with him everywhere. Bernard Roach may have passed in 2017, but his presence is felt in every moment. His teachings, his wisdom, his relentless drive to mold champions, it all lives on in the fighters he helped shape. And now, as Lamont Jr. prepares to take on the most dangerous puncher in boxing, Roach's impact was evident in 2023, when Lamont Jr. won the WBA junior lightweight title against Hector Luis Garcia in dramatic fashion in the final round. With the fight on the line, Roach Jr. delivered a knockdown that secured his victory. That moment, Roach SR insists, was guided by Bernard's spirit. In the last round of that championship fight, "I lifted up my shirt with Bernard's picture on it." Roach SR recalls he is watching, "This one is for him." And then there was the voice, "I just had a funny feeling that something was going on." And I think that was him telling us, don't let up. Roach SR says,
"Fight him like a dog," and he said, "I'm gonna try to knock him out. If he talking about retiring, I'm gonna try to retire his ass early." A lot of people think that that's the wrong game plan. I agree. I don't think it's gonna work, but...
And the fact that after I win, my life and my family's lives will change drastically for the good. It's a simple but powerful statement. Roach isn't just fighting for himself. He's fighting for his family, for his city, and for the respect he feels has been denied to him. He knows beating Davis would be career-defining. It would take him from being a solid champion to a household name in camp. Roach has been pushing himself harder than ever. His sparring partners have been carefully chosen to mimic Davis's style as much as possible. They've been throwing everything at him, speed, power, aggression, and Roach has been holding his own. The focus has been on movement, defense, and keeping the fight in the middle of the ring. He knows standing still against Dave, he's training to stay elusive, while still landing sharp counters. His father, Lamont Roach SR, has been a huge influence in keeping Roach mentally locked in. The elder Roach is a no-nonsense trainer who doesn't let the outside noise seep into their gym. Every session is about preparation and improvement, not worrying about what the media or fans are saying. It's all about staying grounded and sticking to the plan psychologically. Roach knows he has to stay in Davis's face from the opening bell. Davis thrives when opponents show fear or hesitation, and Roach refuses to give him that satisfaction.
It'd be like, I don't know, it'd be little clips, like you see how like man him was talking and then somebody else talked like in his crew. Mm-hmm. That's what get me up. Like that's what make me like I always want to prove to somebody that I'm like they.
The plan is to stay calm, stay sharp, and show Davis that he's not intimidated. If Roach can do that, he's got a real shot at breaking down the walls. Davis usually builds around his opponents. Devon Davis has been stirring up confusion lately with his unpredictable moves for the past few months. The Baltimore native has made some eyebrow-raising comments about his career, throwing his fans into a state of uncertainty. It all started when on Christmas Eve, Davis dropped a bomb that had everyone questioning what was going on out of nowhere. He claimed that his highly anticipated showdown with Roach, which fans had been eagerly waiting for, was canceled. There was no explanation, no follow-up statement, just a social media post that left the boxing world.
I'm not looking at Lamont the way that everybody else look at Lamont. Like I know Lamont is a really good fighter. I'm not. This ain't no Frank Martin. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's a real good fight.
Naturally, fans jumped to conclusions, speculating that it might be another one of Tank's infamous meltdowns. The unpredictability of Davis's statements hasn't been new, but this felt different. The timing was odd, and with no backup from his team or anyone else, it felt like another episode of Davis throwing a wrench into his own plans. But just when it seemed like the fight might slip through everyone's fingers, Lamont Roach and his father Lamont SR stepped in to clear the air. They issued statements reassuring the fans that the fight was still on track for its scheduled date. The whole situation could have easily escalated into chaos, but both fighters managed to keep the focus on their upcoming showdown despite the brief confusion.
Talk to me about the mental preparation going to this fight with Lamont. Fans, they kind of sleeping on Lamont, but you know Lamont's fighting style. Y'all fought in the past.
People don't know him, but Lamont is a good fighter. Like he ain't no slouch. Like I fought him in the amateurs. Like
Roach, for his part, was just as baffled as the rest of us when the cancellation rumors started swirling. While fans on social media were panicking, Roach wasn't getting caught up in the drama. During a recent Quanta session on his YouTube channel, he addressed the situation with his usual calm demeanor. A fan asked him directly, "Why did people say the fight was canceled or you pulled out?" Roach smiled, acknowledging the question, and went on to explain his side of things. Gervonta Davis is like a wild card, Roach said. You never know what he's going to do next. The 29-year-old Washington native admitted that Davis's unpredictability is something he's had to learn to deal with over the years. He wasn't fazed by the rumors or the confusion. Instead, there's
a rematch clause, people, so get ready for 2 fights. But yes, and after I beat him the second time, I probably would ask the WBA to let me go up to 140 and fight right.
Roach has seen it all in his own journey, and he's not going to let any of Davis's eccentricities throw him off course. Roach knows Davis well enough by now to understand that Tank is his own person, and his decisions don't always make sense from the outside, whether it's an emotional tweet or a cryptic post. Davis often keeps people guessing about his next move. Rowe, however, isn't bothered by the mental gymnastics Tank puts the boxing world through for Roach. It's business as usual. He has his own fight to prepare for, and nothing is going to distract him from that goal. The mental aspect of boxing is just as important as the physical preparation, and Roach is staying mentally sharp for his biggest challenge. Yet I don't let that stuff affect me, Roach said. It's clear that he's not about to get wrapped up in the drama or the rumors. Instead, he's channeling all that energy into getting himself ready for what could be the fight of his life. Roach knows that beating Davis would change everything for him, his career, his life, and his legacy. But for now, he's focused on keeping his eyes on the prize, letting the noise from the outside roll off his back.
Yeah, man, I mean, it's going to go. Tank going to be losing the first 3 rounds. Then he's going to download the data. Then he going to knock this dude out in round 7 or 8. Then he going to do the backflip. Then Jim Gray's going to get in the ring, or Caleb Plant's wife, and say, who do you want next? And Tank's going to say, I want all those guys. And they're going to go to the press.
As the countdown to their showdown in Brooklyn continues, it's safe to say that Roach is as locked in as ever. His camp is already underway, and he's preparing for Davis in the most professional way possible. Gervonta Davis looks sharp and ready to go with his weight already close to fighting form, while other fighters like Keeson Davis seem to carry a lot of weight during training camp. Tank is staying lean and prepared. Keeson often looks more like a welterweight before cutting down to 135 pounds. But Tank doesn't rely on drastic weight cuts to get an advantage. He's a natural lightweight, not someone trying to game the system by shedding pounds last minute.
No one's been able to solve Tank Davis. What do you need to do together with you and your team and obviously your son to score that victory?
We got a game plan. We're going to execute it, and we're going to get the results.
Move that head, bob and weave.
Interestingly, Tank's longtime trainer Calvin Ford hasn't been seen much lately, which has led to speculation that the two may have parted ways. Ford has been a constant figure in Tank's career for years, so his absence hasn't gone unnoticed by fans and insiders alike. Leonard Ellerby, who knows Davis well, weighed in on the situation during a conversation on the laboratory with Plus LBY, reflected on Tank's recent announcement about retiring after 3 more fights, saying he understood the mindset behind it. I can understand where he's coming from. Things are different when you have kids. It changed your life. It completely changes your life, Irby said.
It's gonna be a party on your floor.
I'm gonna let y'all know something. His father was up here shaking on the what's the name? He was shaking on the.
Thank everybody that played a part in it. My team, Roberto Diaz, Gary Jonas.
On my kids, he was shaking on this thing. On my kids, he was shaking. How you gonna say it's cap?
It gotta be.
You gonna say it's cap?
Pound also pointed out how Tank sees things differently than he did 6 or 7 years ago. If that's what he said, that he's retiring, and we all heard him, no, not at all. It's never good enough what you do, and sometimes that can be frustrating. He added that the pressure from fans and the constant demand for more fights can take a toll. There's more to life than something you do for a living. You have respect for fans who pay their money to see you fight, but you have a life outside of boxing. They want you to continue to do this, and they really don't care about your health afterward.
My whole family's from DC. My whole family, like my entire family.
Don't bring them. Don't bring them.
For what?
Don't bring them. I'm telling you.
They gonna celebrate with me.
Don't bring them.
It's gonna be a party on your floor.
I'm gonna let y'all know something. His father was up here shaking on the what's the name? He was shaking on the
Pops.
On my kid.
The future may look bright for Tank, but it's also packed with hungry competitors. Fighters like Andy Cruz, Edwin De Los Santos, and Keeson Davis are all chasing him, and it's possible that Tank feels the heat. These are not easy fights, and Tank knows it if he's confident he can beat them. He also knows those battles will be grueling at this stage of his career. He may not want to put in the extreme effort required for such high-stakes matchups. Ellerby also shared his thoughts on the brutal nature of boxing and how it affects a fighter's long-term health.